Well, it's Tuesday afternoon down at Banks Chamber 2, and we've had another really good day. The weather's been really kind to us. We've been making good progress in the west cell. The area of in situ kind of mass fill that we thought we had yesterday, as I suggested yesterday afternoon, has actually turned out to be disturbed. It was covered in a layer of silt that made it look genuine, but this silt seems to have formed fairly recently and sealed the backfill. But what we have found is the genuine cut of the disturbed area. So the west side of the cell has actually remains in situ. So we've got a skull, an upturned skull in the northern corner. Just to the east of that we have another skull, quite fragmented, but that seems to be just the state of preservation and its condition rather than anything else. That seems to be a juvenile, or certainly a young individual, looking at the skull fragments. Underlying those we've got two femurs lying almost up against the wall, and these are all surrounded in this otter sprain. So it does look like, well, this is something we've got to establish tomorrow, but it does look like the sprain has kind of accumulated around the bones. But that's something to look into. Of course, the otters could have been in there using this as their holt. They may have disturbed the human bone as well. If this obviously we think occurred in the Neolithic, they could have just shunted these skulls to the corner themselves. So there's something for us to have a look at tomorrow. So in the central chamber, as you can see, we've been wearing our white suits, and we've cordoned off the area. We've removed the bulk into the southern cell, and we've been doing that under controlled conditions. We've managed to trace the layers that we found in the internal chamber into the kind of fan of material that's tipping into the cell. So we found the layer of slabs that we had as the blocking material. We've traced that into the cell, and we've had a first look into the cell. It's been slightly disturbed at the back. The capstone is slightly cracked, and the wall at the back is slightly disturbed. So there's a bit of recent collapse onto the top. I can't actually see any in situ human remains. It's not quite as tidy perhaps as the north cell was before, and certainly haven't got any skulls staring back at us this time. But so we're going to be excavating the fan of material going into the doorway tomorrow morning, with still under controlled conditions, and then cleaning and having a look inside the cell, seeing if we can identify any human bone inside the cell, with the idea of recording that and hoping to get some samples for our DNA analysis. So the weather's not supposed to be too great tomorrow, but who knows, it could well miss us. We shall see.